All right, good afternoon, class. Today we're going to learn the assignment 3. It's multiplying and dividing rational expressions. You'll have to pardon the voice. It's a little hoarse today. Um, so it's a little bit of a build on what we did yesterday in terms of how you cancel out. So in assignment 1, we had questions like this. And the whole point of this was that we factor first, and once we finish factoring, then we're going to also be able to cancel something out or reduce it. In this case, the top can be factored this way. Of course, there's nothing we can do at the bottom. And here was another concept that was from assignment 1, that if you have an x minus 3 over a 3 minus x, they do actually reduce, but they reduce to produce a negative. So this becomes a negative 1. And then we would have 6 times negative 1, so it's negative 6. So you might just think of it, this produces a negative sign, but of course if there's no other number we would call it a negative 1. So you could just say it produces a negative sign that goes in front of the 6. So another example would be this type of thing. Okay, so if we, again, the idea is to factor first and then reduce. So if we factor the top, you see that we have this. And if we factor the bottom, we have a difference of squares, which is 2 minus x, 2 plus x. So you can see that, again, we've got this that reduces, but they're in the opposite order. And so I will end up with x minus 2 over 2 plus x. But this reduction here in the beginning produces a negative sign, which I guess you technically would put in front of the whole fraction. That would probably be the safest way to do it. Okay, so that's the reduction. So that's what we worked on yesterday. Today we're going to continue on that same idea. Except we're going to also include multiplication and division. We're going to start off by reviewing what you've done before. It's basically a grade 9 or grade 10 concept. If you have something like this, yeah, something like this. So the idea here is that, again, we're reducing. I think what most people find easier to do, though, in this case, is to multiply the top times the top and the denominator times the denominator, get that result, and then reduce. So you can see that the top is 60, 4 times 15, m to the, add the exponents, 9, b, add the exponents, negative 2. And then on the bottom we've got 40, m to the 9, b to the 3. So 60 over 40 actually reduces. So now we're doing the reduction. So now we've done the multiplication. Now we're reducing. You can see the m to the 9 over the m to the 9 cancel each other out. We've got 60 over 40, which reduces to actually 6 over 4, which reduces to 3 over 2. So the 3 is on top and the 2 is on the bottom. And then here I have b to the negative 2 over b to the 3. And you can do this one of two ways. You can go subtraction of powers. So you'd have negative 2 take away 3, which produces negative 5. So you could write it as 3b to the negative 5 over 2. Or another acceptable answer is to say that that negative 5 can now be moved to the bottom. You may remember that. Negative powers can be moved to the bottom. So we could have also written that answer like this. So both of these would have been acceptable answers. Okay, so that's the first step. Just some basic review of what you did in grade 9 and grade 10. And then we'll be extending that by doing the same thing we did yesterday, except with expressions that are a little bit more complex. So here would be an example. Oh, sorry. So here's an example. All right. And again, the process is the same. The process is to factor and reduce. So if you look at what we're factoring here, top we've got trinomial. So you can see your factoring skills are going to come into play a lot in this unit. That factors into that. On the bottom here, we've got this denominator, difference of squares. That's going to be x plus 6, x minus 6. And you can see that here on the right-hand side, we've got a common factor. The 4 can be factored out there. All right. And at the bottom, we've got this. So now when we look at all the things that can be canceled out, of course, they have to be the same. So we've got an x minus 6 and an x minus 6. And we can also go across from one fraction to the other. This x plus 6 will cancel out that x plus 6. The x plus 2 does not reduce with the x minus 2. So we're left with, and we can reduce also the 4 over the 2. The 4 over the 2 cancels to just 2. So we're left with 2x plus 2 over x minus 2. That's our final answer. All right, let's try another one. What if you had something like this? Let's see. And this time we're going to have a divide by symbol. And let's see, we'd have something like this. Okay. So here we have divide. Remember, when you have a fraction divide by a fraction, the process is to flip and multiply. So what we're going to first do is flip and multiply. Okay, but we always flip just the second one, right? It's whatever you're dividing by, that gets flipped. And you might want to do the factoring while you do this. That's probably a good idea. So you have x minus 5, x plus 5 for the first term, x minus 5, x plus 3 for the denominator, multiplied by, now of course this is going to be on top, they're going to switch places, so I'm factoring this one for the numerator. That's an x plus 3 and then x plus 6. And at the bottom, I've got things that multiply to 20 that give me a difference of 1. Remember, that's a 1, so that's 5 and 4. So it'll be x plus 5, x minus 4. And now again, I'm looking for everything that I can cross off, and you can see that I have an x minus 5 and an x minus 5. I have an x plus 5 and an x plus 5. I have an x plus 3 and an x plus 3. So my final answer is going to be x plus 6 over x minus 4. And remember as well that these x's can't cancel out. We talked about that yesterday. And technically, Yeah, this is fine. This is what we'll do today. So that's your final answer. Let's try a couple more. Of course, the concept's the same all the time. Factor, flip and multiply if it's dividing, and reduce. So that's what you're doing. Those are your steps. Factor, flip and multiply if it's division. And then the last step is to reduce. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so I finally figured out something that's going to work. So they magically appeared very quickly, but this is what we're going to try to do. And note again the division. All right, so we're going to do the same idea. First step is to factor. So when I factor the numerator here, it's the difference of squares. It's 2 minus x, 2 plus x. And at the bottom, that's a little bit more of a complex trinomial, but again, it's not too difficult because this is prime. So I'm going to 2x times x. And now I have to think of a way that I'm going to get a 7 for the middle. And you can see the 6 and the 1 won't work because that'll give me values that are too high. So I'll need the 3 and the 2 to get the 6. So the 3 would have to go in the back, and the 2 would have to go, oh, sorry, the 3 and the 2. Oh, made an error. Okay, we're going to correct this here so that this works out. Let's make this this should have been a 3. That's what I was thinking. Okay, so that should be a 3. All right, then we got the 3 and the 1. Okay, and we got plus here. Okay, I was thinking 6 already in my head when I put it down. So 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. And now you can see that we actually do get that. On the right-hand side, we're changing this to multiplying. All right. So in multiplying, we are going to now switch these around. And this goes on top. So you can see that the only thing that it has common is a 2. So I could write it as 1 plus 2x. And the bottom, of course, is going to be what the numerator was here. So we're going to factor this thing. And it's going to be x minus 2, x minus 3. All right, so now we're going to cancel things off. You can see that we have, doesn't look like there's much canceling off, but here we've got 2x plus 1, and 1 plus 2x. Now remember, with adding, it doesn't matter what order you add in. 2x plus 1 is the same as 1 plus 2x, so they do cancel off completely, and you don't have to produce any negative signs. But here, the 2 minus x and the x minus 2 do produce a negative sign. So we'll put that on the numerator, and you can see what we have left for the numerator, because that's all we have left to cancel out, is we have this 2 plus x times 2, which would make sense to put in the front. So that's all that we have left on the numerator. And in the denominator, we have x plus 3, x minus 3. So that's our final answer. All right, we'll do one more example. What about if you have a situation like this? Hold on, I'm recording. Okay, so you can see this last one we're going to try to reduce. And on the top, we're going to have and on the bottom, we're going to have this. let's see. I'm going to think this one through. I want this to work out. Let's make this a 5x. So x squared plus 5x minus 6. Okay, so if we have that as an example, and again, the same procedure as we said before, factor and reduce. So we're going to factor this trinomial here. So again, you see the skill of factoring is going to be very significant in this unit. On the bottom, we've got x plus 7, x minus 7, times, and this time we don't have to flip it because it's multiplication. Factoring the top, x plus 3, x plus 7, and factoring the bottom, x plus 2. Oh, that should be a positive sign, sorry. X plus 2, x plus 3. So hopefully your notes will still show that. That should be positive here. All right, and in this case, this is what I was trying to show you, is that if everything reduces, if everything cancels out, that means your numerator and denominator are equal, so that does not produce 0, that actually produces a value of 1. So if everything reduces and cancels out, that means your overall value is 1. All right, so you should take out assignment 3, so that means you're skipping assignment 2. We'll do that one tomorrow. And it's called multiplying and dividing rational expressions, and that's what you should complete. Thank you.